The Rise and Legacy of Kaiju, a history of Japan's monster movies. Kaiju, the Japanese term meaning strange beast, refers to a genre of monster films that has become a defining aspect of Japanese pop culture and a major influence on global cinema. Emerging from the aftermath of World War II, kaiju films have reflected deep societal anxieties while also providing thrilling entertainment. From the atomic age fears that birthed Godzilla to the modern resurgence with Godzilla Minus One, the history of kaiju cinema is as colossal as the monsters it portrays. Kaiju cinema was profoundly shaped by the traumas of World War II, particularly the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the subsequent American occupation of Japan. These national experiences left psychological scars that manifested in cultural expression, especially in film. The original Godzilla, Gojira, 1954, directed by Ishiro Honda, was directly inspired by the nuclear age and the 1954 US hydrogen bomb test at Bikini Atoll, which contaminated a Japanese fishing vessel, the Lucky Dragon No. 5. The event shocked the nation and served as a catalyst for Gojira, which depicted a giant radioactive monster awakened by nuclear testing. American cinema also had a direct influence on kaiju films. The popularity of 1950s American science fiction films like The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, 1953, which featured a giant creature awakened by atomic tests, showed the viability of monster films as allegory and spectacle. Japanese filmmakers adopted the genre, but imbued it with uniquely Japanese themes: post-war trauma, environmental destruction, and scientific hubris, elevating it beyond imitation. The success of Gojira led to a wave of kaiju films in the late 1950s and 1960s, establishing what would become known as the Showa era of kaiju cinema. Toho Studios, the birthplace of Godzilla, introduced a host of monsters, including Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidora. These creatures often clashed with each other in city-flattening battles that reflected the chaos of modernity and mankind's inability to control its creations. During the 1970s and 1980s, kaiju films entered a campier, child-friendly phase, with monsters becoming heroic figures rather than menacing threats. However, the genre returned to darker themes in the 1990s and 2000s as part of the Heisei, or Millennium eras, which featured more sophisticated effects and a return to serious storytelling. Kaiju films heavily influenced American pop culture, particularly in the realms of science fiction and action. Directors like Guillermo del Toro, Pacific Rim, and J.J. Abrams, Cloverfield, have cited kaiju as an inspiration. The 2014 Godzilla reboot by Legendary Pictures marked a major Western revival of the genre, leading to the MonsterVerse franchise, which includes Kong Skull Island from 2017, Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019, and Godzilla vs. Kong 2021. Beyond direct adaptations, the kaiju aesthetic has permeated everything from kids' shows like Power Rangers to blockbuster franchises like Transformers, which borrow from the grandiose scale and titanic battles that define the genre. Let's take a look at some of the all-time greatest kaiju films. We'll start with the granddaddy of them all, Gojira from 1954. This is the original film that started everything. Gojira is a grim, black and white parable about nuclear destruction. It follows a giant radioactive monster that lays waste to Tokyo, embodying the fears of post-war Japan. Far from a simple monster movie, Gojira is a meditation on the consequences of human arrogance and scientific overreach. Mothra, 1961. Introducing one of the few benevolent kaiju, Mothra tells the story of a giant moth deity who emerges to protect two tiny priestesses and their island. The film blends spirituality, environmentalism, and spectacle, showcasing a more mythic side of kaiju lore. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991. A time travel-infused installment from the Heisei era. This film pits Godzilla against his three-headed nemesis, King Ghidorah. It explores Japan's future economic power and revisits its wartime past, making it one of the more politically nuanced entries. Shin Godzilla, 2016. Shin Godzilla is a modern reimagining of the classic monster, presenting Godzilla as a rapidly evolving force of nature. The film critiques bureaucratic paralysis in the face of disaster, echoing Japan's real-life response to the 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster. Godzilla Minus One, 2023. Set in post-World War II Japan, Godzilla Minus One returns the monster to its roots as a symbol of national trauma. The film focuses on a kamikaze pilot haunted by guilt, blending human drama with stunning monster sequences. Its emotional depth and critical acclaim signal a new golden era for the genre. Success of Godzilla Minus One, which won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in 2024. The future of kaiju cinema looks promising. The film's blend of historical drama, character depth, and cutting-edge effects has raised the bar for future entries. Japanese studios are now reasserting creative control over their iconic monsters, while Western studios continue to explore crossover appeal through big-budget franchises. The genre's enduring power lies in its adaptability, whether symbolizing nuclear fear, environmental collapse, or societal anxiety. Kaiju will continue to evolve with the times. As long as humanity faces existential threats, we will likely continue to conjure monsters to make sense of them on screen, in cities, and in our collective imagination.